You know, it's clear that socialist Democrats in our nation's capital are attacking America's Judeo-Christian ethic, from Biden's bastardization of Catholicism to his party's embrace of anti-Semites. The Socialist Democrat Party is the home of hate in America. Joining me now to discuss, Professor Emeritus of Harvard Law School, author of the new book, The Case Against the New Censorship, and his previous offering, Guilt by Accusation, Professor Alan Dershowitz. Also with us, the host and producer of The Catholic Current and author of the book, Real Philosophy for Real People, Tools for Truthful Living, Father Robert McTague. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you here. Professor, we'll begin with you. You were ahead of everybody on this troubling development in the Democrat Party, the embrace of openly anti-Semitic members in an effort to keep or expand their numbers in Congress, from Ilhan Omar to Rashida M.F. Tlaib to AOC. As rockets are raining down on Israel, fired by terrorists in Hamas, the Democrats are cheering for Hamas. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, many years ago, I wrote a book called The Case for Moral Clarity, in which I predicted this was going to happen. You have a situation of pure evil on one side, Hamas, double war crime, sending rockets aimed at Israeli civilians, children, from behind their own children. And I predicted this was going to keep happening as long as the international community, as long as the media encourages Hamas. The great villain of this piece is Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is basically encouraging Hamas to continue what it's doing. And the Squad and the New York Times. The New York Times, 5 op-eds in a row condemning Israel, until finally today they allowed Bret Stephens to write a piece. And what this does is it sends a message to Hamas. Every few years, find an excuse, send rockets to Israel, kill Israeli children. Israel will respond. Don't worry. Sanders, the New York Times, the left of the Democratic Party, the international community, the International Criminal Court, the UN, will condemn Israel, and you will win. So do it again and again and again. That's what's going to keep happening.
Father McTague, I want to talk with you about, as a practicing Catholic, I call Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and John Kerry, and others like them, I call them fake Catholics. Not only do they promote, fund, and enable abortion, they attack groups like the Little Sisters of the Poor, trying to force the Little Sisters to violate their deeply held religious beliefs. Now, the Biden administration has filed an appeal to force religious doctors and hospitals to perform gender transition procedures. It's hard to imagine a party that holds more contempt for our religion than does Socialist Democrats. Am I wrong?
Well, maybe the Chinese Communist Party might give them a run for their money, but certainly in the United States, it's hard for me to reconcile what I know about what the church has always taught and what's embraced by your common political parties these days. It's irreconcilable, not only in terms of faith and revelation, but also in terms of the use of human reason. The Catholic Church has always been a great champion of the use of right reason. And a lot of the policies that you've referred to, a lot of the politicians you referred to, are completely at odds with what is obvious to human reason, and certainly irreconcilable with so much of Catholic revelation.
Professor, I'm going to turn back to what's going on with this current back and forth between Hamas and Israel. Actress and star of Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, she is, of course, from Israel. She called for peace amid the Israel-Hamas violence, but her call for peace was condemned yet again by pro-terrorist reprobates in the U.S. and around the globe. When a message of peace is decried in this way, what does it reveal about the nature of the reprobates who would shame someone like Gal Gadot?
Well, it reveals a great deal, but it also reveals a great deal about the internet. You have President Trump, who would like to get on Twitter now to defend Israel, as he has so articulately over the years. But he's banned because what he says isn't the truth. But look what the internet allows up. All these attacks on Gal Gadot, one attack from a person from Pakistan, an actress, who says, oh, Hitler killed 6 million Jews and he only kept the others alive. So we know why he had to kill the Jews. Another one saying, I'm the new Hitler. I'm supporting the Palestinians. Another one saying Israel isn't a real state. And when Twitter keeps those after taking down Trump, it's basically saying, we think that's the truth. We think that's the truth, because if it wasn't the truth, we'd have to take it down the way we took down Trump. So you get inadvertently, you get the social media supporting Hamas, the New York Times supporting Hamas, and it sends a very powerful message. Do it again. Kill children, kill civilians, attack, commit war crimes. You'll prevail on this because of the anti-Semitism that stimulates so much of this. And you can be a Jew and an anti-Semite. Biden has made some strong statements positively, and I commend him for that. But Bernie Sanders, who's Jewish, is a self-hating Jew. Who is willing to see Israel be defeated militarily by a terrorist group because he's on the hard left and he has to follow the hard left. And that's what he has been doing.
Father McTague, last thing I want to talk with you about is prompted by feedback from their priests and the laity. The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops is considering denying fake Catholics like Joe Biden, John Kerry, Nancy Pelosi Holy Communion, which, for you non-Catholics out there, we Catholics believe that the Eucharist is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. If the bishops do not act, don't they risk undermining their teaching authority to devout Catholics in the United States?
I think they would be at pains to explain why they're not enforcing the canon law, Canon 915. When someone is a public sinner who is obviously at variance with the fundamental teaching of the Church, that life begins at conception, is made in the image and likeness of God. Life is sacred from conception to natural death. When you're publicly at odds with that, enthusiastically at odds with that, when you vote against a Born Alive Protection Act, that causes scandal among the faithful. If there's a good reason not to apply the law, I haven't heard it yet. I'll be very keen to hear what the bishops have to say in June.
Me too. Father Robert McTague and Alan Dershowitz, gentlemen, it is a pleasure speaking with you as always.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.